Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm Akila Tasha binti Zalman. My ID number is 2019230112.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Ayuni Aribah binti Arjunaidi. My ID number 2019416356.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Najihah binti Sabtu. My student ID number is 2019230304.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Syabika binti Masri. My ID number 2019295144.
Let me share info with you guys about the history of value chain analysis. The value chain has evolved to come to its current structure. The FILA concept was introduced in the 1960s at the Institut National de la Recherche Agronomique INRA and the Centre International and Recherche Agronomique pour le Développement CIRAD. It was an analytical tool for empirical agriculture research. It helped recreate a more structured understanding of the economic processes of farming commodities within production and distribution system. On the other hand, the general FILA concept applies to the domestic value chains. In 1974, Wallerstein developed the concept of commodity chains. They designed this concept around the world systems theory, which is an elaboration of the dependency theory. This concept of a commodity chain further developed into a global commodity chain by Garen Fee and others. Michael Porter introduced the concept of the value chain in the 1980s. He discussed the value chain analysis in terms of competitive advantage. Porter value chain has two primary types of activities that support each other to add value to the company's input to transform it into cost-effective outputs. These two types of activities. First, primary activities include inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and services. Second is support activities includes technology development, procurement, human resource management, and firm infrastructure. Okay, I will state what the definition for value chain analysis. Okay, so the definition is a process where a firm identifies its primary and support activities that add value to its final product and then analyze these activities to reduce cost or increase differentiation. The primary goal of the value chain analysis is to create or strengthen your business competitive advantage. Value chain analysis is a strategy tool used to analyze internal firm activities. Its goal is to recognize which activities are the most valuable to the firm and which one could be improved to provide competitive advantage. So Porter described two different categories of activities. First, 5 primary activities which include inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and services. It contributes to the physical creation of the product or services. It sells and transfers to the buyer and it service after the sales. Second is support activities include procurement, technology development, human resource management, and firm infrastructure that either add value by themselves or add value through important relationship with both primary activities and other support activities.
First, primary activities. The definition of primary activities is sequential activities of the value chain that refer to the physical creation of the product or service, its sales and transfer to the buyer, and its service after sale, including inbound logistics, operations, outbound logistics, marketing and sales, and service. First, inbound logistics is primarily associated with receiving, storing, and distributing inputs to the product. It includes material handling, warehouse, inventory control, vehicle scheduling, and returns to suppliers. Second, operations that include all activities associated with transforming inputs into the final product form, such as machining, packaging, assembly, testing, printing, and facility operations. Third, outbound logistics is activities that associated with collecting, storing, and distributing the product or service to buyers. These activities include finished goods, warehousing, material handling, delivery, vehicle operation, order processing, and scheduling. Fourth, Marketing and sales is activities associated with purchases of products and services by end user and the inducement used to get them to make purchases. They include advertising, promotion, sales force, quoting, channel selection, channel relations and pricing. Last, service primary activity includes all actions associated with providing service to enhance or maintain the value of the product, such as installation, repair, training, parts supply, and product adjustment.
Okay, I will explain about support activities. What is support activities? Support activities of the value chain that either add value by themselves or add value through important relationship with both primary activities and other support activities, including procurement, technology development, human resource management, and firm infrastructure. First, procurement. Procurement refers to the function of purchasing inputs used in the firm's value chain, not to the purchased inputs themselves. Purchase inputs include raw materials, supplies, and other consumable items as well as assets such as machinery, laboratory equipment, office equipment, and buildings. Second, technology development. Technology development is activities associated with the development of new knowledge that is applied to the firm's operations. Technology development related to the product and its features support to the entire value chain, while other technology development is associated with primary or support activity. Third is human resource management. Human resource management consists of activities involved in the recruiting, hiring, training, development, and compensation of all types of personnel. It supports both individual primary and support activities such as hiring of engineers and scientists and the entire value chain such as negotiation with labor unions. And last is firm infrastructure. Firm infrastructure refers to an organization structures as well as its management, planning, accounting, finance and quality control mechanisms. This can include cloud computing.
Next, what is the purpose of value chain analysis? The primary purpose of the value chain model is to understand how to get a competitive advantage. This is by looking at the production process and figuring out how to deliver more value for the lower cost. The company needs to identify its competitive advantage to compete against the customers and survive in the industry for a longer period. The second one is to help the company to understand how it adds value to something through the process of creating the product or services. The company will be able to identify how it is able to sell the product or service with a higher price than the cost incurred, thus generating profit margin for the company. Besides, value analysis enables the company to examine and recognize which activities of the company and the relationship between those activities and recognize which activities are more valuable. This is to identify if any of this activity or the company's output can be improved in respect to its time, cost, and effort in creating its value. Reason on why such a technique is popularly adopted by corporations. The reason is that value chain analysis helps decision makers understand which activities are most valuable and which ones can be optimized to give the business a competitive advantage. By doing that, the firm can optimize the main activities of the country with the highest cost of production and increase the margin of profits. Different companies use different ways to develop competitive advantage. Next, this analysis can help to ensure that each business activity you are involved in increases value for your customers. It highlights the process that go into developing a great product or service that customers highly value. As a result, buyers are prepared to pay a premium that surpasses its expenses, resulting in a higher profit. Lastly, value chain analysis also can help organizations to identify the company's strengths and weaknesses. The weaknesses and strengths are useful for the organization to identify external opportunities and also possible threats that will occur in the future. After all, industry evaluates analysis can identify which firms are strongest and as well as the weakest one in each test of the industry's value chains.
Next, I will proceed with the next part. There are some advantages of the technique value chain analysis. First is breaking down product and service activity into smaller components in order to fully understand the associated costs and areas of differentiation. Therefore, we can simply identify those tasks where we can cut costs, optimize effort, remove waste, and boost profitability. Second is analyzing action also reveals elements that are more valuable to the end user. Some of the activities that result from this could be as simple as negotiating raw material costs with suppliers, focusing on end user experiences that are enhanced by new communication or customer service experience, and identify activities that are better served by outsourcing, and those that are not a core competency result in process improvement or are less expensive when performed by external supplier. Besides that, the value chain in the breakdown of all operations involved in the production of a good or services, as well as the identification of cost-cutting and differentiation opportunities. Value chain help provide useful insight that can bring greater value to the end customer. Furthermore, the firm will be able to compare its action to those of its competitors. They are able to focus on the customer's perceived value of the product and services. There are some methods to analyze differentiation by using product features, marketing channel, pricing, and service supports. There are some disadvantages of the technique of value chain analysis. Value chain analysis takes a significant amount of time and work. This is because some systems must be modified to accommodate their analysis. Value chain analysis requires the employment of professionals to correctly manage and necessitate a significant scale and scope of the organization. Besides that, data and availability might be detrimental to the company. This is due to the fact that business require a wide range of information in order to analyze and build strategic advantage. Changes in capital investment, cost structures, and market price may not be costly available to the present. It is critical for long-term decision making. Company may be unable to enhance its existing performance. Next is employee resistance may make it harder to execute the value chain analysis technique. They are unfamiliar with the concept since they did not know how to apply it effectively and easily choose to employ the same candidate tools over and over again. Lastly, there is no scientific technique employed in the conjunction with the activities. Value chain analysis is extremely difficult to establish the company's revenue, expense, and asset. It is not arranged in such a way that it can assist the business in readily identifying of all the information required.
Next, I proceed to process or step that involved in order to implement the technique. Value chain analysis has two different approaches, where the cost advantage or differentiation advantage approach. Okay, firstly, cost advantage approach is used when organizations want to compete on cost and set out to become the low cost producer in their industry. So there are 5 steps involved in this approach. The first step is defining primary and supporting activities. Primary activities are those that go directly into the creation of a product or the execution of service, including inbound logistics, operation, outbound logistics, marketing and sales and services. Secondary activities are broken down into few activities including procurement, technological development, human resource and management, and infrastructure. Further conclusion to this step of cost advantage approach, it is essential to understand all of the primary and support activities that go into the product and service creation. The second step is determine the importance of each value chain activity in overall product cost. Once the primary and support activities has been identified, the next step is to determine the value of each activity adds to the process along with the cost involved. Next step is to specify the factor that drive the cost of each activity. If the manager is able to understand the factor that drive cost of each activity in the value chain, he can focus on how to reduce them because different activities have different cost drivers. Okay, step 4 is identify the relationship and link between all activity. Find the connection between all the value activities that organization have identified. The lists are key to increasing competitive advantage on the value chain framework. Step 5 is determine the opportunities to reduce costs. The last step is where the organization must identify the opportunities to reduce the cost where it can plan when to implement the right strategies in the business to improve the inefficient activity that it currently operates in. Okay, I have settled in explaining about 5 steps of cost advantage approach. Next, I will proceed to differentiation advantage approach. Value chain analysis is done differently when a firm competes on differentiation rather than cost. This is because the source of differentiation advantage comes from creating superior products, adding more features, and satisfying varying customer needs, which result in higher cost structure. Step 1. Identify the customer value creating activities. After identifying all value chain analysis, managers have to focus on those activities that contribute the most to creating customer value. Step 2. Evaluate the differentiation strategy for improving customer value when thinking about the value created by activities. Ask yourself, not just to increase the end user satisfaction or enjoyment, how does it create value for my firm? Manager can use the strategy to increase product differentiation and customer value, which are to add more product features, focus on customer service and responsiveness, increase customization, and offer complementary product. Okay, the last step is to identify the best sustainable differentiation. Usually, superior differentiation customer value will be the result of many interrelated activities and strategy used. The best combination of them should be used to pursue sustainable differentiation advantage. Using value chain analysis, they can uncover several opportunities for their firm, which can prove difficult to prioritize.
Next, we will go through the example for Starbucks and Netflix. Starbucks is a company that began operation in Seattle in 1971 and is now becoming more well-known across the world. Their company is in the food and beverage industry. Their mission is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. First and foremost, let us examine their company's primary key, beginning with inbound logistics. Starbucks inbound logistics refers to a coffee buyers who have been hired by their firm to choose high-quality coffee beans from their supplier. They roast their own green beans gathered directly from the farm and packed into custom packs, and this has assisted their firm in raising its sales value. The beans are then transferred to their branch store, with some being handled by external logistical businesses. Starbucks does not outsource any of its procurement. For operations, Starbucks has operated in over 80 markets, either through direct company, own location, or through licensed business. Outbound logistics. Starbucks does not use middlemen to sell its product. Starbucks sells the majority of its product in store. Marketing and sales. When they launch a new product, one of their company's marketing initiative is to provide free samples to the surrounding areas. Last but not least, for the primary activities is services. Starbucks increases their customer loyalty by providing a unique experience to customers in their store. As we can see at Starbucks, their employees have been trained as baristas to make drinks for their customers. Next, supporting activities. Starbucks firm infrastructure has a department that helps them to keep the company's store operational. Every Starbucks branch has a manager where they are the ones who help in providing comfort to their customers and monitor all the conditions in their store. For human resource management, their employees are motivated through benefits and incentives, such as providing incentives to their employees who get the most customers. In addition, they conduct training programs for their staff so that they can monitor the emotional health of their employees to stay healthy. They provide free and unlimited Wi-Fi where people who have a work or meeting can do the work in their store. Starbucks also provides a platform for their customers to provide feedback on the service provided or feedback on their new products. They also create an app called iBeacon for their customers who use Apple, so they can order water online and just pick it up at the takeaway table. For the last one, which is procurement, they use their own coffee beans, which they consider as a competitive advantage. Next, we will go through to the Netflix. Netflix was founded by Hastings and Randolph in the late 1990s. It is a company that offers movie rentals over the internet through their server. They charge a fee to customers who subscribe to their services for a month, and each month their payment will be deducted directly from their bank account. Let's look at the primary and supporting activities for their company. First of all, for their primary activities, inbound logistics for Netflix, their logistics is receiving, storing, and disseminating the input of the product. Netflix has a strong relationship with the content developers like Warner Bros. And others. At the same time, they also provide an opportunity for media companies to turn their movies into blockbuster movies by uploading their movies into their servers. Next are operations. Operation is the process by which a service transforms incoming logistics into outgoing logistics. For the Netflix company, they store all its content on its server, which is the cloud. Users can also connect to the Netflix server via multiple devices. For outbound logistics, they operate a digital media rental business. Moreover, their outbound logistics is to deliver digital media to their customers via downloading or streaming movies through their servers. Their marketing is an agile, innovative approach based on brand development via customer relationship management. They have increased their budgets for marketing this year with the aim of further expanding their customer base. The last primary activities is service. Netflix delivers its products and services online. They will also release movies and drama that are fun or trending to attract their customers to subscribe to their service. Next, we go to supporting activities for the Netflix company. First of all, the firm infrastructure. Netflix infrastructure is managed through diversification and distribute management, such as finance and planning management at Netflix are managed at the corporate level, while the quality management, accounting, and legal issues are looked after the business unit level. Human resource management is based on employee participation and incentive. Netflix strongly encourages its employees in decision-making, and rewards program created for their employees is also one of the best incentives to advance their employees. For technology development, Netflix is very committed to its customers with the most advanced and best experience for online video rental services. Netflix uses advanced technology for their business model by using cloud infrastructure. They also invest heavily in research and development with the aim of creating business value. The last one is procurement. Procurement in Netflix is included in obtaining copyright license to sell digital content. Netflix will make sure that the access they get is original and in-demand content. They also create original content creation, and in this way, they can attract more customers.
Okay, last is conclusion. As we can conclude that value chain analysis provides a simple but effective way for businesses to evaluate the activities that they engage into deliver their product or service. They can then use the result from the analysis to determine steps that they can take to improve their competitive advantage. Why value chain analysis is important? Value chain analysis is an in-depth examination of all of the steps a business takes from acquiring materials to producing, distributing and selling its products and services. So the limitation of value chain analysis is it can break down an organization's operations into segments that can lead to the firm losing its overall business strategy and vision, because sometimes it is not possible to understand how the activities relate to each other.